Valmiki Ramayana, Bala Kanda, Book 1, Sarga 20, Canto 20, Vishwamitra's Visit. Now Dasharatha's pious mind meet wedlock for his sons designed. With priests and friends the king began to counsel and prepare his plan. Such thoughts engaged his bosom when to see Ayodhya's Lord of men, a mighty saint of glorious fame, the hermit Vishwamitra came. For evil fiends that roam by night disturbed him in each holy rite, and in their strength and frantic rage assailed with witcheries the sage. He came to seek the monarch's aid, to guard the rites the demons stayed, unable to a close to bring one unpolluted offering. Seeking the king in this dire strait, he said to those who kept the gate, "Haste, warders, to your master run, and say that here stands God's son." Soon as they heard the holy man, to the king's chamber swift they ran, with minds disordered all, and spurred to wildest zeal by what they heard. Unto the royal hall they sped, there stood and lowly bowed the head, and made the Lord of men aware that the great saint was waiting there. The king with priest and peers, the king with priest and peer arose, and ran the sage to meet, as Indra from his palace goes, Lord Brahma's self to greet. When glowing with celestial light, the pious hermit was in sight. The king whose mien his transport showed, the honored gift for guest bestowed. The king whose mien his transport showed, the honored gift for guests bestowed. Nor did the saint that gift despise, offered as holy texts advise. He kindly asked the earth king great, he kindly asked the earth's great king. He kindly asked the earth's great king how all with him was prospering. The son of Kaushik bade him tell if all in town and field were well. All well with friends and kith and kin, and royal treasure stored within. Do all thy neighbors own thy sway? Thy foes confess thee yet? Dost thou continue still to pay to gods and men each debt? Then he of hermits first and best, Vashishta with a smile addressed, and asked him of his welfare too, showing him honor as was due. Then with the sainted hermit all went joyous to the monarch's hall, and sate them down by due degree, each one of rank and dignity. Joy filled the noble prince's breast, who thus bespoke the honored guest. As Amrit by a mortal found, as rain upon the thirsty ground, as to an hairless man a son, born to him of his precious one, as gain or what we surely miss, as sudden dawn of mighty bliss, as sudden dawn of mighty bliss. So if, so is thy coming here to me, all welcome, mighty saint, to thee. What wish within thy heart hast thou? If I can please thee, tell me how. Hail, saint, from whom all honors flow, worthy of all I can bestow. Blessed is my birth with fruit today, nor has my life been thrown away. I see the best of Brahman race, and night to glorious morn gives place. Thou, holy sage, in days of old, among the royal saints enrolled, didst penance glorified within the Brahman caste high station win. This meet and right in many a way, that I to thee should honor pay. This seems a marvel to mine eyes. All sin thy visit purifies. And I, by seeing thee, O sage, have reaped the fruit of pilgrimage. They say what thou wouldst have me do. Then say what thou wouldst have me do, that thou hast sought this interview. Favored by thee, my wish is still, O hermit, to perform thy will. Nor needest thou at length explain the object that thy heart would gain. Without reserve I grant it now, my deity, O Lord, art thou. The glorious hermit, far renowned, with highest fame and virtue crowned, rejoiced these modest words to hear, delightful to the mind and ear. Jai Valmiki Ramayana Ki Jai. Footnotes 32 1b Schlegel. Schlegel. So Ralph Griffith, he is using Schlegel as another source to interpret different passages of Ramayana. It seems that, that this dude Schlegel is a German. Schlegel in the Indische Bibliothek remarks that the proficiency of the Indians in this art early attracted the attention of Alexander's successors, and natives of India were so long exclusively employed in this service that the name Indian was applied to any elephant driver, to whatever country might be might huh, to whatever country B might belong. Might be belong. I don't know. Hmm. Sounds like Alexander the Great was a great admirer of India. He came to India, all the way to India, and finally he had to turn back. He didn't have a visa. 33.1. The story of this famous saint is given at sufficient length in Cantos LILV. So that's about Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra, the story of Vishwamitra, Saint Vishwamitra. This saint has given his name to the district and city to the east of Benares. The original name preserved in a land grant on copper now in the museum of the Benares College has been Muslimized into Ghazipur, the city of the soldier martyr. 33. 2. The son of Kaushik is Vishwamitra. 33. 3. At the recollection of their former enmity to be described hereafter. So they are two sages, Vishwamitra and Vashishta, and they were always rivals. They were always kind of envious of each other. Yeah, even the great sages can be envious of each other. But ultimately, they made up and became friends, or at least they respected each other. So this is another beautiful chapter of Ramayana, where a description of a great sage Vishwamitra is presented, who came to Ayodhya because he wanted to ask King Dasharatha for help, because his rituals, his sacrifices were always polluted by the Rakshasas who were harassing him. Rakshasas who are roaming during the night in the forest and looking for sages um, to either kill the sages or to give them trouble in performing a Vedic ritual. So Vishwamitra got very annoyed. He is a Brahmana and he cannot use his Brahminical powers to fend off these demons, because he will lose all his spiritual merits. So that's the Vedic situation, that the Kshatriyas are the ones who are supposed to be fighting, not Brahmanas. So that's why Vishwamitra came to Ayodhya to ask help from King Dasharatha to ward off the demons who always come to disturb his peaceful meditations, peaceful rituals. So it's gonna be described in the next chapter how did Vishwamitra go about in asking for help King Dasharatha. Okay. Valmiki Ramayana ki jai. Ciao.